Hello everybody, this is Adam once again with a brand new video, and we are going to talk about the meditation and yoga poses to heal the heart chakra, but also the questions that you need to ask yourself, because you never know. This might not be the chakra that's imbalanced that's hurting you. And I think some people, the problem is that they are trying to heal a chakra that may be just totally fine. And then if you overheal it, it becomes overactive, and you need to find that balance. So if you really ask these questions yourself, and you really find yourself in this position, this could be the reason. Your heart chakra might be imbalanced. It's okay. It's not like it's terribly bad, but it's something you have to address. Because if you don't have your heart chakra opened and balanced, then it might be a little challenging to find the relationship that might make you whole again. Anyway, let's start with number 1. Are you dwelling on a past relationship? Is it hard to really look over and hard to move forward with it? Do you yearn for this person to come back into your life? Do you yearn to want them in your life in some way, shape, or form? This could be why. It's that disconnection of yourself. Now, there are other characteristics which we'll go through, but these are the questions. Do you hold on to grudges between yourself or a personal relationship? Did they do something that hurt you and you just can't get over it? You apologized, you talk about it. It doesn't mean necessarily you ignore it. It means that you need to let go of that physiological downturn, that physiological just wretch that is very, very bad. It's very bad. You're experiencing trust issues in a relationship or friendships of all kinds. Do you see yourself in a way where you are holding on to old baggage and you can't trust this person to be totally with you? Luckily, I have found a woman who trusts me 100%, despite her being deployed out to South Korea. But I have been in relationships where my partner at the time had to know where I was all the time. I couldn't hang out with friends. I basically had to disconnect myself from my friends, which are girls. And it's like, I'm sorry, I have women friends and I love them and I care about them. But guess what? We're just friends. There's nothing wrong with it. And honestly, if you're experiencing that kind of trust issue, you're hurting yourself more than you're helping anything. It's time to break that cycle. You're feeling shy. I knew exactly. I actually had an imbalance of my heart chakra a year and a half ago, and I knew exactly what the problem was because I'm usually a social butterfly and I felt shy. It was the weirdest experience. My brother, who is an actual introvert, was more extroverted than I was, and I'm the extrovert. But yeah, that's it wasn't tumultuous, but I knew something was wrong, and I just knew it. Have you been keeping your emotions bottled up? Do you hate letting go? Do you hate just unleashing all of that emotion due to some sort of I don't want to look weak, or it's not for a man to show his emotions? That nonsense. I hate that. I hate that thing where, it's all macho. No, you look bad, actually. It's not good. Are you struggling with committed... Do you struggle with committed relationships? Do you have commitment issues? So if you are the person who is not faithful, do you go back on your word? Do you do this? That is a problem, and it's not good, not just for yourself, but for them. And this is kind of why. Do you procrastinate when it comes to relationships? Let me explain that one, because that one, the wording is kind of odd, but hear me out. If you find you're not making time to find someone, you can't find anybody suitable, or you do not have the time to build or grow a relationship for any kind of nonsensical excuse. I get it. Sometimes we get busy. It's fine. This is not necessarily a sexual relationship issue with the heart chakra. This is family. This is friends. This is that relationship. Do you find it's difficult for you to get out and meet with your friends and hang out with them and do fun things? Your heart chakra might be imbalanced. Do you hold on to past hurts, past breakups, or friendships that ended tumultuously? Do you hold that? And once again, there goes my door. Do you hold that grudge, or do you feel abandoned? That's probably the best way to say it. Do you feel abandoned? This is why. Especially after something that happened a couple of years ago. It's fine to go through the 7, but when your heart chakra is balanced, you tend to find yourself getting over these kinds of things a lot better. It's actually quite nice. Do you always feel anxious or stressed? Obviously, this comes in a variety of ways, and this is something that we've seen in the past chakras as well. I mean, this could be the reason, and you'll see that difference, but this one is more of you kind of get over the rest of it, and then you'll see that anxiety or that stress go away. Do you push others away intentionally? I had this problem. I was wanting to shut people out. I felt shy, and I'm like, I want you to go away. Are you unable to accept the attention from others, even though you really want it? This is part of the same question. And once again, this is something where you need to discover that love again. You can't stop focusing on others or putting yourself last. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, do you feel like you are obligated to tend to others' needs before yourself? Do you feel selfish if you look at yourself before others? And I'm sorry, but it's not. In a previous example, I had a very negative person that I kept in my life for an arbitrary reason. I thought I was helping her. Actually, I was hindering her more, and I was helping her move. And as soon as I got to her place, nothing, zero was done. She's like, we have to get this all out today. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She had to be out by 8. We were getting stuff packed. I was getting stuff in the car, and she just stopped and was being defensive and nosy, and I had it. And I'm sorry, there was a point, like, my heart chakra just told me, leave it, gone. Do not be friends with this person. And honestly, that kind of focus on myself and my needs above others was the greatest decision of my life. It really brought out my true friends, the people who would do the same for me as I did for them. And it gave me more of an incentive to help those who actually wanted it. I don't hate this person. In fact, I love her and care about her. And I always will. I do feel like that she is just super, totally, unquestionably imbalanced. And it's something that she'll need to fight on her own until she accepts that help. So if you have that kind of relationship in some way, shape, or form, friendship, family member, relationship, any of it, I'm sorry, but sometimes disconnection is best. We'll dive more into it later, especially with my experiences with this chakra, but that will be for later. So let's get into more of like the imbalancing too, being defensive, feeling closed down, blah, 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 blah. A lot of this is more outwardly than inwardly. The yoga poses and the meditations that you can do to balance this chakra. The first one is going to be the witch's circle. So boom, right on your heart, and then one on your knee. As you're meditating, there are people who do the praying hands right on the heart, but make sure that your thumb is attached, like not attached, but is touching your chest right in the middle. Generally, I like to do the witch's circle, but I'll hold a stone to my heart instead, which is something that a lot of people can do. And if you do jewelry or you wear this particular chakra, the stones associated, wear a necklace, obviously. So let's go through 7 poses. Let's go through 7 poses that you can do in yoga to unlock the chakra. Obviously, if you don't feel like you can do these poses quite yet, it's alright. Don't do it. Don't attempt it. I don't want you hurt. The first one is going to be the half camel pose with the heart chakra hand placement. Once again, the hand and the thumb right into the chest. Very good pose. A little bit harder. The wheel pose. Do not do this unless you know exactly that you can do this. I cannot. I'm about as flexible as a 2x4. The bridge pose. An easier pose as opposed to the wheel, but still, to the person's discretion, don't hurt yourself. The warrior pose with the heart opening back bend. And once again, this is just one where you gotta have to have your own discretion. A lot of these are very flexible and the heart is mostly the one outwardly going, so keep that in mind when you want to explore this. The upward facing dog pose, a much easier pose overall, but the back is still in a prominent position where you could get hurt. The reverse plank pose, an easier one to do overall. The bow pose. Do not recommend doing this one unless you know what you're doing. A lot of these I would recommend going to a yoga class as well, which is a great one because they'll have alternatives for particular poses that will be easier for people who are not as advanced. And that is it. Great. Well, there are some 7 poses that can really get you going on your heart chakra, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about these chakras and all of them and all the power that it can do, I highly recommend checking out the first link in the description, the #1 recommendation for understanding chakras. It is a great little video that really dives deep into the power of the chakras, and it's 100% free to sign up. So give it a look. Thank you all for listening, and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.